Deep in Arkansas's rugged Ozarks and fertile delta lie 73 forgotten tales from historic newspapers. Giant skeletons clutching Spanish swords in Little Rock, Chickasaw Mound, 9-foot skeletons with hieroglyph jars, Smithsonian, vanished Ozark cave giants, and entire mountains reshaped by ancient peoples mining novaculite stone. Toltec royal tombs, earth, house villages blanketing the state, Mississippi County smelters with mystery pills, and DeSoto warriors buried under urban streets await. Some border finds connect through shared mound lore and prehistoric rivers. Welcome to Ancient Mysteries of Arkansas. Number 1. Prehistoric Road of the Giants. The Opelousas Journal, Opelousas, Louisiana, May 26, 1877, and also the Hickman Courier, Hickman, Kentucky, May 4, 1877. In the late 19th century, fascinating archaeological discoveries around Arkadelphia and the Ouachita River in southwestern Arkansas revealed evidence of a long-lost prehistoric civilization. A correspondent writing from Arkadelphia in March described an ancient well-graded road about 50 feet wide. This road was discovered in 1831 during the construction of the military road from Memphis to the Texas line. This roadway, overgrown with massive ancient trees, appeared to be 800 to 1,000 years old. Local Native Americans attributed it to a peaceful advanced race called the Lena Lenape. They claimed these people had been driven southwest by fiercer tribes. Near Arkadelphia, enormous earthen mounds drew particular attention. The most impressive was a mound on the Caddo River over 100 feet high. It rose from a flat plain and was once covered in large timber. About 20 years prior, Colonel H.W. McMillan excavated this mound. He uncovered richly decorated earthen jugs, bowls, dishes, carved pipes bearing mysterious hieroglyphic-like inscriptions, stone relics, and even a Spanish sword with remnants of iron armor. This suggested possible contact with DeSoto's expedition. Many of these artifacts were later donated to collections in Nashville and for Arkansas's Centennial exhibit. Other discoveries included similar pottery and relics from mounds on local plantations. There was also a duck-shaped oil lamp covered in inscriptions found on the nearby Welch farm. Most strikingly, erosion along the Ouachita riverbank about 5 miles below Arkadelphia exposed numerous human skeletons measuring over 7 feet tall. These hinted at a race of giants buried in what may have been an ancient health resort area tied to the nearby hot springs just 20 miles away. These findings point to a sophisticated prehistoric people who cultivated the rich Ouachita Valley soil, built massive structures, and possibly valued the region's therapeutic waters long before European arrival. All discoveries center in Arkadelphia and the Ouachita Valley of southwestern Arkansas. This story was a combination of 2 newspaper articles. Number 2. Chickasaw Mound Giants. Washington Standard, October 29, 1870, and 3 other articles that will be listed in the full video description. In northeastern Arkansas, near Old Barfield Point in today's Mississippi County, a great earthen monument known as Chickasaw Mound rises about 25 feet above the surrounding lowlands. Its flat summit covers roughly an acre on the east bank of Pemiscot Bayou, a branch of the St. Francis River. The mound and the surrounding 12-square-mile tract of fertile, elevated land both bear the name Chickasaw. This honors a legendary Shawnee chief of gigantic stature and remarkable strength who once made this place his home. From around 1800 until his death in 1831, Chief Chickasaw and his hunters gathered annually at Barfield Point. This was then a thriving Mississippi River trading center. They brought furs, peltries, buffalo robes, and even deerskin bags filled with honey. Local tradition says he once hauled as much as 20 gallons at a time. They traded for powder, lead, blankets, and money. In his 90s, he even took a young wife and fathered 2 children. When she died in 1831, the chief, then about 93 or 94, soon followed. According to local accounts, he was buried at the mound. Some versions say at its base, others on its summit. He was buried by his people and sub-chiefs such as Big Knife, Cornmeal, and Moonshine. His son John Pemiscot carried on the family name. Later, Shawnee, like John East, lingered in the region into the Civil War era. Years after the chief's burial, the mound revealed a far older and stranger secret. During an excavation near its base, workers uncovered the remains of a gigantic human being. This skeleton, by careful measurement, was estimated at 8 to 9 feet in height. The skull was so large that witnesses said it could easily slip over the head of an average man. Beneath this massive skull lay a finely crafted earthen vessel. It was shaped like a long-necked carafe or round-bodied decanter. It was made from a peculiar clay and decorated with striking hieroglyphic-like designs. 4 human hands, palms outward and running vertically, flanked by clearly delineated thigh bones. Other artifacts accompanied the burial, though some details faded from memory. What did not fade was the pattern that followed. Subsequent excavations in and around Chickasaba Mound and across the broader Chickasaba region repeatedly turned up similar oversized skeletons. Each was accompanied by nearly identical funeral jars placed beneath the skull. In one case, the assembled leg and foot bones alone stood about 5 feet high in a physician's office. This indicated a person of 9 to 10 feet in stature. In another, near Beaufort's Landing close to Barfield, a single leg measured 5 to 6 feet long by itself. Portions of thigh bones more than 3 feet in length and fragments of the peculiar vases were reported preserved in the city. They were examined by doctors and curious visitors alike. To many locals and early writers, these finds suggested a long-extinct race of giants who once lived in northeastern Arkansas. Centuries before Chief Chickasaba and his Shawnee hunters used the mound, they pictured a prehistoric people of colossal stature, erecting great earthworks across Arkansas and into Kentucky. Their enormous bones and unique funeral pottery, etched with open hands and thigh bones, remained as silent evidence after their stories vanished. Modern science often dismisses giant reports as misidentified animal bones or measurement errors, yet the repeated accounts of huge skeletons and distinctive hand and thigh bone jars at Chickasaba Mound keep this Mississippi County site alive in Arkansas's ancient lore. Number 3. Prehistoric Battle in Giant Graves. Image 3 of Pine Bluff Daily Graphic, Pine Bluff, Ark. September 12, 1905, and 4 other articles. In the late 19th century, railroad crews and farmers along the Arkansas River in Indian Territory, now eastern Oklahoma, stumbled into what sensation-seeking newspapers called the largest prehistoric cemeteries and battlefields ever found in America, just across the river from Arkansas. Near Redland Station, 1.5 miles south of the river, workers cut through a 50-acre bone field holding thousands of skeletons packed 1 per 2 square yards, potentially 50,000 dead from some ancient catastrophe. Many bones lay broken and jumbled, skulls pierced by arrowheads. One held 13, another a 4-inch agate spear through the spine, suggesting a brutal prehistoric battle 700 to 800 years earlier. These victims averaged small stature, 5 to 5 feet 8 inches, with long, narrow, Egyptian-like skulls, buried without metal or European goods. Pottery, jugs, sooty cooking pots, even rare oil lamps sat at elbows for the afterlife journey. Theorists claimed Maya-related people raided by Western Aztec Toltec warriors in a valley-wide war. 25 miles upriver at Weber's Falls, 25 miles southeast of Fort Gibson, educated Creek farmer D.A. McCorkle uncovered a contrasting 2-mile cemetery on his land, once hidden under giant timber and cane. Heavy rains and plowing revealed compass-aligned graves, spaced 4 feet apart, all bodies facing east, with earthen bowls cradled in the right arm. A uniform ritual. Skulls showed thick bone walls, over half-inch, receding foreheads, heavy rear profiles. Most crumbled on exposure, but one 7-foot giant gripped the only weapon found, a 9-inch spearhead. Professor Edwards, visiting in 1896, tied both sites together as one epic 20,000-year-old mound builder victory over invading Mayas that killed 75,000, sealed by adobe floods under mammoth forests. The discovery raced to Washington's Ethnological Department as proof of vanished earthwork builders whose monuments stretch New York to Texas. Though modern archaeology finds no trace of these exact mass graves, Weber's Falls sits in Muskogee County, OK, near Spiro Mounds. The Arkansas River, as Arkansas's western border, carried real prehistoric traffic, making Redland and Weber's Falls enduring border legends that echo into Arkansas mound lore. Though sites are in Oklahoma, the Arkansas River forms Arkansas's northwest border and was a major prehistoric corridor linking Arkansas mound cultures. The mound builder theme directly connects to Arkansas's own earthworks, making this a natural regional mystery for Arkansas ancient history videos. Number 4. The Giant Spaniard, The Eugene City Guard, June 18, 1898. Workmen making street improvements in Little Rock, Arkansas, unearthed a remarkable and mysterious relic. It was a rough oak box that crumbled instantly under their picks, revealing the considerable portion of what was once a gigantic skeleton. The smaller bones had entirely decayed, but traces of their existence remained visible on the sides and bottom of the rude coffin. Adding to the intrigue, the grinning skull was encased in a heavy warrior's helmet, while the fleshless fingers of the right hand clutched a long, rust-eaten sword. From head to foot, the skeleton measured an astounding 7 feet 4 inches, suggesting its owner had been a man of remarkable size and strength. Besides the helmet and sword, neither bearing any clue to the identity, only fragments of a tunic remained. Removing the bones proved exceedingly difficult. Even when accomplished, they crumbled like ashes at the slightest touch, reducing easily to fine dust. A portion of the skull was successfully salvaged and given to a local physician for examination. The helmet and sword, also in advanced decay, were retained by the property owner, Mr. Ubel, who later sold them to a gentleman interested in historical research. Though no information provided the remotest clue to the giant's identity, his burial clearly predated known historical records of the area. This led to the widespread belief that he was one of the early Spanish discoverers of the Mississippi Valley, perhaps a member of Hernando de Soto's famed expedition, buried at this spot by his struggling companions during their perilous journey through the wilderness that would one day become Arkansas. This story was a combination of 5 separate articles. Number 5. Ozark Cave Giants Vanished by Smithsonian. Springfield Daily News Report, April 25, 1934. In 1913, reporter Victor Schoffelmeyer detailed a chilling Ozark cave discovery near Beaver Lake in Arkansas. 12 skeletons averaging 7 to 8 feet tall, 6 normal-sized, were unearthed with 70 footstone walls suggesting ancient habitation. Skulls so massive they dwarfed modern heads, bones packed in a box and reburied after study, fueling claims the Smithsonian whisked them away to bury giant evidence. Lake Expo's 2017 article ties this to persistent Ozark lore of pre-native giants. No trace found post. 1960 C Beaver Lake, flooding despite diver probes revealing cave shelters, but no remains. This echoes Steelville, Missouri's 1933 8-foot skeleton shipped to the Smithsonian and never resurfacing. Modern verdict: exaggerated mammoth bones or tall native outliers, yet the lost giant's mystery endures. This combines reports from 1913 newspapers and later summaries. Number 6. Ozark Cave Dwellers and Petroglyph Secrets. The Ely Miner, Ely, Minnesota, July 15, 1932, and 2 other articles. In the rugged Ozark Hills of northern Arkansas, Smithsonian anthropologist Winslow M. Walker uncovered haunting evidence of a primitive cave-dwelling people. Their lives blended tender burials, pet companionship, and cryptic rock art, unlike any known Native American tribe. His excavations in massive hill caverns and rock shelters, spanning sites within about 100 miles, revealed 10 burials for roughly 12 to 21 individuals. This included 6 very young children and infants, tenderly adorned with necklaces of 600 freshwater snail shells. Adults comprised 2 men, a woman, and an adolescent boy. Most lay flexed in fetal positions, while one man's bones appeared bundled and tied atop the woman's skeleton. Most poignant was a dog burial near a child, forelegs crossed over hind legs in deliberate pose. No burned or broken dog bones marred refuse heaps, proving these people cherished canines as beloved pets and spiritual partners rather than food. Artifacts painted daily survival: flint spear and javelin heads, knives, drills, scrapers, water, worn stone hammers and grinders, mussel, shell spoons and box, turtle bowls, flat, bottomed undecorated pottery shards, and a notched antler, atlatl tip, for hurling darts predating bows. Rock art deepened the enigma. In caverns and shelters, red ochre paintings showed humans, snakes, animal tracks, sun, moon, stars. A field held 30, 3 flat, topped stones with faint geometric carvings, circles and dots within circles, human hands and footprints, animal tracks, possibly ceremonial clan markers. An enormous sandstone cave bore deep half-inch petroglyphs of men, turtles, birds, diamonds, bars, discs, stylized humans, and a horse, like figure-sparking Spanish treasure legends of carved gold maps, though fruitless digs yielded nothing. Ash and charcoal up to 5 feet deep tied sites to Ozark bluff dwellers. Styles varied by location, hinting multiple tribes like Osage or Cherokee ancestors left diverse symbols. These northern Arkansas discoveries evoke a gentle, artistic people whose pet graves and silent stones whisper forgotten Ozark tales. Number 7. Ancient Burial Cave of Vanished Race. The Washburn Times, Washburn, Wisconsin, June 19, 1919. Near Huntsville, in the hill country of northwestern Arkansas, a vast cave has been found on the farm of Lemuel Kendall. It lies about 4 miles northeast of the little community of Alabama, with its entrance opening close to the banks of Kings River. This cavern is described as the largest in Madison County, and possibly one of the largest in the entire state. Explorers already pushed at least 5 miles into its dark passages. As they moved deeper underground, they passed through scores of chambers, some tight and cramped, others opening unexpectedly into a single room said to cover more than 1/4 of an acre. Great stalagmites and stalactites rose from floor and ceiling like the pillars of some buried cathedral. Evidence suggests that this Arkansas cave was not just a natural wonder, but a place of the dead in prehistoric times. It served as a burial site by an unknown people. Among the discoveries is the sloping skull of a man described as belonging to a vanished race, hinting at an ancient community that once knew this cavern well and carried their dead into its depths. Through the darkness runs a swift underground river, wide and deep enough for large boats to float upon its surface. In its black waters live blind fish that have never seen the light of day, silent witnesses to the forgotten burials and mysteries hidden beneath the Arkansas hills. Number 8. Squirrel Skull, buried with ancient man. The Prescott Daily News, Prescott, Arkansas, March 27, 1920. In Nevada County, Arkansas, just 5 miles south of Prescott, farmer W.T. Barrier made a startling discovery while plowing his field in the early 1900s. His plow, running about 12 inches deep, struck a small mound and hit a human skull, bursting it open and scattering the bones of a complete skeleton. Barrier stopped work immediately and carefully excavated the site. He recovered a nearly intact human skeleton whose bones were fairly well preserved, though some crumbled easily into powder when handled. Remarkably, buried alongside the human remains was the skull of a squirrel. Barrier even brought some of the human teeth into Prescott to show reporters. A local resident who had lived in the area for over 40 years confirmed that no known burials had taken place on that land during his lifetime. This suggests the interment, both the person, whose sex remains unknown, and the squirrel, occurred at least half a century earlier, possibly much longer, making it a potential prehistoric or early historic Native American burial. The unusual inclusion of a squirrel skull adds an extra layer of mystery to this ancient Arkansas grave, leaving locals to wonder about the rituals and beliefs of those who placed it there long ago. Number 9. Fort Smith Mounds Lost Maya Relics. While this story mentions Fort Smith, Arkansas, the details strongly suggest the nearby Spiro Mounds complex across the Arkansas-Oklahoma border. Kavanaugh Mound in Fort Smith proper lacks the mass skeletal remains described, whereas Spiro's Craig Mound perfectly matches. Amateur looters in the 1930s destroyed hundreds of skeletons alongside exotic artifacts, initially mistaken for Maya-style craftsmanship. To cover both possibilities, I'll show images from each site. Daily Examiner, September 28, 1936. 2 young Arkansas farm lads, digging for buried treasure in an odd-looking mound near Fort Smith, stumbled upon a chilling find. Human bones emerging from the sandy loam. Eagerly scooping away the earth, they soon uncovered the partly mummified skeleton of a long, deceased man. His bleached chest was covered by a crumbling bow, spears, and an assortment of objects resembling stone pipes. Word quickly spread through town, and curio hunters commissioned the boys to continue digging. Before long, they had unearthed hundreds of similar skeletons from the mound. Archaeologists, upon hearing of the discovery, rushed to Fort Smith with dismay. They examined some of the relics and identified them as possibly bearing workmanship reminiscent of distant Maya or Inca styles. They lamented the loss, certain that the central mummy had belonged to a great warrior, now reduced to dust by the boys' hasty, untrained hands. The priceless story of how such exquisite Central American carvings and pottery reached the distant wilds of Arkansas was lost forever. Archaeologists examined some of the relics and noted early theories suggesting the strange workmanship resembled distant Maya or Inca styles. These were initial speculations about artifacts that didn't match known Native American items at the time, so their presumption of Mayan origins was incorrect. That said, a legitimate Mayan artifact later confirmed real by scholars was discovered in an Arkansas cave, which we'll cover later in this video, so stay tuned. The plot thickens. Number 10. Skeleton trapped in ancient oak. The Don Dorigo Gazette, July 4th, 1925. Near Elm Springs in northwest Arkansas, a fleeing rabbit led a party of hunters on an unexpected chase, one that ended with a chilling discovery inside the hollow of a giant oak tree. The tree's opening was narrow, only a few inches wide, forcing the men to enlarge it with their old flintlock rifles before they could peer inside. What they found sent shivers through the group. A complete human skeleton, along with an ancient flintlock rifle and a buckskin pouch still containing gunpowder. Foresters examined the massive oak and estimated that the narrow entrance hadn't been large enough for a grown man to pass through for more than 60 years. This raised haunting questions about the unfortunate soul's fate. Perhaps he had climbed into the hollow seeking refuge from pursuing Indians, only to find himself trapped, unable to turn or maneuver his way back out. Or maybe he had crawled in wounded from battle or hunt, succumbing alone in the darkness. The eerie tale evoked memories of James Paine's thrilling story, The Lost Sir Massingbird, where a man meets a similar grim end concealed within nature's grasp. This macabre find in the Arkansas woods whispered of frontier dangers long past, where one wrong move could seal a person's doom forever in the heart of the natural state's ancient forests. Number 11. Crippled thigh bone from Arkansas mounds. Evening Star, Washington, D.C., February 28, 1954. Dr. T. Dale Stewart, curator of physical anthropology at the Smithsonian Institution, uncovered evidence of ancient diseases while excavating prehistoric skeletal remains. Some of his most striking finds are now on display at the Army Medical Museum in Washington, D.C. Among these, a thigh bone from an Arkansas Indian stands out, showing clear signs that its owner lived with a crippling condition. This offers a direct glimpse into the physical struggles of people buried in Arkansas mounds. The bone's deformities reveal how this individual survived a serious injury or congenital issue long enough to be laid to rest in an Arkansas grave. Meanwhile, Dr. Stewart's broader work compares dental health and bone pathologies across ancient populations. He noted pristine teeth in Eskimos and Texas Indians, alongside decay in Maryland and Virginia tribes due to diet differences like corn, heavy meals. The Arkansas thigh bone adds to this catalog of prehistoric ailments, underscoring that disabilities plagued humans as far back as the dinosaurs. Number 12. Mound Builder skeletons at Prairie Creek Bridge. The Siftings Herald, Arkadelphia Ark, July 26, 1928. In the summer of 1930, R.W. Bransford was constructing a stone driveway and digging a pit for a gasoline tank at a new filling station at the Prairie Creek Bridge, just east of Murfreesboro on the main road to Hot Springs in Pike County, Arkansas. During the excavation, he uncovered several Native American skeletons, along with a significant quantity of coarse, black human hair, believed at the time to belong to ancient mound builders. The site lay directly beside an old Indian mound, adding to the archaeological intrigue. Remarkably, this very location, beneath a massive giant tree that still shaded the spot, was the historic place where Pike County was officially organized in the 1840s by early settlers establishing the county government. The unexpected discovery quickly drew crowds of curious tourists passing through the area on their way to Hot Springs or the nearby diamond fields. Local curio seekers gathered as well, eager to glimpse these physical traces of Arkansas's prehistoric past. This find highlights the rich Caddo Mound, building culture that once thrived in southwest Arkansas centuries ago. Nearby sites like the Ha Indian village just outside Murfreesboro preserve similar ancient mounds and artifacts for modern visitors to explore. Number 13. Arkansas Mound Skulls at Centennial Exhibition. Public Ledger, Memphis Tenor-Years, September 29, 1876. At the 1876 Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia, relics from ancient mound builders were displayed in various state departments and government buildings. These provided insights into their arts and culture through items like earthenware vessels, necklaces of shells, bone and copper needles, arrow heads, spear heads, and stone axes. The artifacts, found across the Mississippi Valley from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, suggested a dense prehistoric population. Similarities to Peruvian pottery hinted at broader connections, with theories linking them to the Aztecs rather than Native American ancestors. Focusing on Arkansas, the state's department showcased relics including peculiar skulls from local mounds. These exhibited early cranial modifications, some flattened on one side, others conical, and some with oversized jaws, indicating cultural practices of shaping children's heads. Recently opened mounds in Arkansas revealed detailed burial customs. Skeletons were arranged in enclosures in a sitting position, each equipped with a water vessel at the right arm, a food plate in front, and a smaller vessel, possibly a medicine bottle, at the left. This suggested beliefs in an afterlife journey. These findings, alongside traces of villages and fortifications in nearby regions like Missouri, Ohio, and Iowa, positioned Arkansas as a key area for understanding this vanished civilization's presence in the Mississippi Valley. Number 14. Giant Skeletons and Ancient Smelters. Memphis Daily Appeal, Memphis 10, May 5, 1873, and two other articles. In the late 19th century, a fascinated resident of Osceola, Arkansas, in Mississippi County, shared extraordinary discoveries from the region's numerous ancient mounds. These painted a picture of a long, lost, advanced prehistoric civilization. On the Buckner Place farm near Crooked Lake in Mississippi County, excavators uncovered traces of underground smelting furnaces containing lead ore. This puzzled experts since the local soil lacks minerals and contains no natural lead deposits. Workers also plowed up high-quality bricks far superior to modern ones in pottery vessels of every shape and size. In ditch digging on the same farm, they found enormous human skeletons, some buried face downward, others upright, possibly chiefs given finer accompanying vessels. Many had earthenware pots placed like caps over their heads. These giants belonged to an extinct race, with bones indicating staggering heights. Near a deep bayou on the Chickasaw lands, a local hotel keeper unearthed what he first thought was a massive gourd, but it proved to be a huge human skull. The full skeleton crumbled upon exposure, embedded in a strange preservative material that retained traces of facial features. In one mound excavation, Dr. J.H. Hazard discovered a small earthen box, tumbler-sized, with a fitted lid, half filled with hard, preserved pills, perhaps ancient medicine for the nearby giant burial. These were sent for analysis, highlighting the sophistication of these deadly doctors from a forgotten era. A standout artifact was an ancient cup, twice the size of a teacup, with projections and holes for hanging over a fire. It bore scorch marks from melting lead. Described as potentially the oldest piece of functional tableware on the continent, it fueled speculation about a highly skilled people who worked metals, built vast mounds, and achieved gigantic stature in a land now transformed. That is all for part 1. Stay tuned for parts 2 through 5. Hit the like, subscribe bell icon, and follow button to help me continue to make these videos.